Have you ever been listening to music and just wondered, how did they do that? How does one note just bloom into this huge sonic space?
Yeah, or like, how does a simple chord suddenly sound like this ancient echoing cathedral?
Exactly. Well, today we're diving deep into the gear that actually creates those sounds, those vast sonic landscapes. We're talking about Strymon's sky
Ah,
pedals.
yes. The legendary family, the blue sky, the big sky, and the night sky.
Right. And these aren't just effects boxes, they're really instruments in their own right. They've totally reshaped modern music, influencing everything from like huge worship anthems to really experimental stuff.
They really have. What makes them so significant, I think, isn't just the sound quality, which is amazing, but how they push what a stomp box could even be.
Uh-huh.
They basically took studio quality reverb, the kind you used to need huge expensive racks for, and put it on the floor.
Right at your feet.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Made it accessible for live gigs, for home studios, and crucially for actual real-time sound creation. Musicians could suddenly sculpt these evolving textures as they played.
Integrating it right into the composition.
Precisely. It became part of the instrument, not just something tacked on after. So our mission today is to really dig into the tech, the creative power, and, the lasting impact of these pedals. They really did change the game for reverb.
Okay, let's get into it. And we should probably start by acknowledging the one that paved the way, right? The Strymon BigSky.
Good point. Released back in 2010.
Yeah, and the Blue Sky was already kind of a big deal. Before Big Sky, it set a really high standard. It showed you could get truly studio-level plate, room, spring sounds,
Like that signature Strymon shimmer and modulation.
all in a pretty compact pedal. It was like a hint of what was coming, proving pedals could be serious sound tools. It really prepared the ground.
It definitely did. It showed their capability.
So if the Blue Sky was that first compelling statement, then the Strymon BigSky, launched in 2013, that was the main event, the thunderclap.
Ah, yeah, that's a good way to put it. It wasn't just an update. It really felt like a revolution.
It totally democratized those high-end studio rack sounds. You mentioned the expensive
Like the
ones.
Lexicon PCM series, yeah. Thousands of dollars.
And suddenly, boom. Similar quality on your pedal board. The impact was immediate, wasn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Instant and huge. Pro guitarists, worship players, ambient musicians, producers. Everyone seemed to jump on it almost overnight. It became a standard pretty quickly.
So what was under the hood? What was the tech that made this possible?
Well, the core of it was the Analog Devices A-Shark DSP processor.
Okay.
Think of that as the powerhouse brain inside. This wasn't just any chip. It had the muscle for incredibly complex reverb algorithms.
Right.
And it delivered them with really high-fidelity audio processing, 24-bit, 96 kilohertz.
Mm-hmm.
So the sound quality was just pristine, super detailed. It really did rival proper studio hardware. And crucially, it had an analog dry-through path.
Yeah, that's important. Explain that a bit.
It means your original dry guitar signal passes through the pedal completely untouched, analog, with zero latency.
So no digital conversion messing with your core tone.
Exactly. Your main sound stays pure and immediate, and then this incredibly lush, complex reverb gets layered around it without making things feel, laggy or muddy.
Gotcha. And the algorithms themselves. That's where the magic really happened, right? 12 of them.
12 distinct reverb engines, yeah.
Ah.
And the range was incredible. You had your essentials covered beautifully. Room, hall, plate, spring. Fantastic, realistic versions of those classics. Probably the best in pedal form at the time.
But it was the other stuff that really turned heads.
Oh, definitely. The more transformative ambient algorithms, that's where the Big Sky legend was truly forged.
Like cloud, that huge ethereal wash.
Massive, yeah. With those sort of shimmering qualities.
Yeah.
Creates this enveloping atmosphere.
And shimmer itself, adding the octave up harmonics to the tail, that sound became huge.
Iconic, especially in worship music, but beyond too. Just soaring, angelic textures.
Then you had Bloom with that expanding tail that just keeps going.
Almost endlessly, yeah. And chorale, which was really unique, using format filtering to give the reverb a kind of vocal, choir-like quality.
So, as someone deep in audio, what was your take when those more out-there sounds first appeared? Did musicians instantly grasp what they could do?
That's a great question. I think the initial reaction was just, wow, the quality. It sounded like a rack unit. But the deeper realization, the real aha moment came as players started using cloud and shimmer, not just as effects, but as compositional elements.
Right, tools to build with.
Exactly. Before Big Sky, how would a guitarist easily create that kind of infinite shimmering bed of sound that swells on its own? It wasn't just a new effect, it was like a new way to paint with sound.
Hmm.
Cloud, for instance, let you create these sustained pads that could underpin a whole song section.
Mm.
It totally changed the emotional texture, especially in genres like post-rock or worship. It turned the pedal board into this sonic laboratory.
Yeah.
And while it nails the traditional stuff, its reputation really hangs on those incredible ambient washes. Lush, smooth, expansive, that's the Big Sky sound. Perfect for cinematic textures. Sounds that were just really hard to get from a pedal before.
And the control was deep, too. It wasn't just presets.
No, not at all. Dedicated knobs for decay, pre-delay, mix, tone, mod. Plus those two assignable parameter knobs, param 1 and 2, for tweaking specific algorithm details. And 300 presets via MIDI? That's massive. It's huge. Plus stereo in-out, full MIDI control for automation, expression pedal input, even a cab filter for going direct. It's a proper workstation.
That level of programmability in a pedal was a game changer for live use and studio work.
No question. It really set a new benchmark. It profoundly shaped modern worship music, ambient, cinematic guitar,
Sure.
especially those cloud, shimmer, and chorale sounds. It became the pedal everyone else was measured against.
Still is, in many ways.
Absolutely. Even now, a decade on, it's still considered one of the most versatile, best-sounding reverb pedals out there. Its legacy is secure. But, all that depth could be a bit intimidating for some.
Mm-hmm.
Do people find a steep learning curve?
I think the genius was that the main controls were right there, very intuitive. You could get amazing sounds fast. But if you wanted to go deep, the options were there. And you saw its impact everywhere. Artists like John Mayer using it for those big ambient swells live.
Right, bringing that studio quality on stage.
Daniel Carson with Chris Tomlin, Michael Guy Chislett from Hillsong. They basically defined the modern worship guitar sound using Big Sky's shimmer and cloud.
Transformed it, really.
Nels Cline from Wilco got experimental with bloom and chorale.
Pushing the textures.
And yeah, countless post-rock and ambient bands, hammock, explosions in the sky. It became essential for building those massive soundscapes. It went everywhere.
Truly global reach.
But Strymon didn't stop there, did they? Even with the Big Sky being this huge success, they were thinking, what's next?
Always innovating. They weren't just going to refine. They wanted to, redefine what reverb could even be.
Which brings us to something really different from 2020. The Strymon Night Sky.
Ah, the Night Sky. Yeah, that one's a different beast altogether.
Totally. It wasn't just another multi-reverb. They called it an experimental reverberant synthesis machine.
Right. Built around reverb as the source of sound creation, not just the space around it.
Instead of just making your guitar sound like it's in a hall, the Night Sky treats the reverb itself like raw material you can shape, almost like an oscillator in a synth.
That's a perfect analogy. You sculpt, pitch shift, sequence the reverb itself to generate entirely new sounds, rather than just processing an existing one. It's a really fascinating conceptual shift.
So how does its philosophy compare to the Big Sky?
It's almost the opposite in some ways. Big Sky aimed for comprehensive, high-fidelity versions of all reverb types. Night Sky focuses on pushing beyond conventional reverb. It only has 3 distinct reverb cores, different from Big Sky's 12 engines, but the emphasis is on deep, experimental manipulation of those cores.
Less about choosing a room, more about designing a sound from scratch using reverb DNA.
Exactly, designing a whole universe, manipulating the very fabric of the reverb sound.
And the features for shaping sound? They sound pretty wild. Synth-like is right.
Totally. Continuous pitch control over the reverb itself. You can change the processing rate, the core size dynamically, make it swell or shrink.
Wow.
Then you have shimmer that goes plus or minus an octave.
Not just up.
Nope, down 2. Opens up way more harmonic possibilities. Glimmer adds these dynamic harmonic sparkles that evolve. A voice section for formant or harmonic shaping, like making the reverb sing.
Okay.
Plus a proper modulation section with filters, like a synth. And even a drive stage for gritty, overdriven reverb tails. It really is like a reverb synthesizer.
But the sequencer, that's the bit that sounds craziest. An 8-step sequencer.
Groundbreaking, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not just sequencing effects. It sequences the pitch of the reverb over time.
What?
With variable portamento, so the pitch can glide smoothly between steps, not just jump.
So you can create melodies with reverb.
Essentially, yes. Or rhythmic patterns. It completely blurs the line between reverb and a synth pad. You can build evolving melodic textures just from the reverb itself. Imagine feeding one guitar note in and getting back this whole ambient sequence generated by the reverb's pitch shifting.
That is mind-bending for a reverb pedal. How did they even come up with that? What does it actually let you do that was impossible before?
I think it just speaks to their what-if approach, let's push this. What it unlocks is this deep rhythmic and melodic integration. Before, you'd sequence maybe a synth line, then add reverb.
Right, reverb follows.
With Night Sky, the reverb can be the sequence. You can create rhythmic pulses, arpeggiated reverb trails, harmonic drones that shift and breathe with the music because they are part of the sequence composition. Reverb can lead.
Wow. Okay. And despite all that power, you mentioned the interface is quite hands-on.
Surprisingly, yes. Lots of knobs for the main functions. It feels more like tweaking a hardware synth than menu diving, which is great for sound designers who want to experiment quickly. Still got stereo I/O, MIDI, expression, all the Poe features.
So who is this aimed at then? It sounds incredibly deep.
It really is. It's for the sonic explorers, musicians looking for sound design overload, people crafting dense ambient textures, synth-like modulation, going way beyond standard reverb.
Keyboard players, electronic artists.
Absolutely. And ambient guitarists looking for something truly new. Anyone wanting to push reverb into uncharted territory. It's less about realistic spaces, more about building alien soundscapes or evolving paths from any sound source.
So let's pull back a bit. We've got the Blue Sky, the Big Sky, the Night Sky, this whole sky family. How do they fit together? They share a name but seem to serve really different purposes.
They really do cater to distinct needs. It's a fascinating evolution to track, and it begs the question for musicians, which one fits my workflow? If we line them up, the Blue Sky is your foundation. Core focus on classic high-fidelity reverb.
Plate, room, spring.
Exactly. Pristine versions, plus shimmer mod in a simple package.
Yes.
Clean, polished sound. Great for creative reverbists wanting beautiful core tones without deep complexity. A real workhorse.
Then the Big Sky. The Big Kahuna.
The studio in a box, yeah. Core focus. Comprehensive, studio-grade, multi-engine reverb.
The 12 engines.
12 engines. The ability to run 2 reverbs at once, dual reverb for incredibly dense textures. And that deep preset system.
And the sound?
Lush, cinematic, incredibly versatile. You can design pretty much any reverb imaginable, from subtle to massive. The ultimate all-rounder for crafting spaces.
And finally, Night Sky. The outlier.
Definitely the experimental one.
Ah.
Core focus, ambient synth-style reverb generation.
Pitch modulation, the sequencer.
The sequencer, dynamic warping, features that set it completely apart. Its sound is ethereal, textural, deliberately blurring lines between reverb and synth pad. It's about creating new sonic worlds.
So, 3 pedals, 1 family name, but each carving out its own unique space, shows real innovation from Strymon, creating specialized tools.
Precisely. A tool for almost every reverb need, from foundational to futuristic.
It's been quite the trip through the Strymon Sky, hasn't it? From Blue Sky laying the groundwork, proving pedal reverb could be high fidelity.
To the Big Sky, the landmark pedal bringing that comprehensive studio power to everyone's feet.
To the Night Sky, just completely rethinking reverb as a synthesis tool. Both Big Sky and Night Sky are genuine milestones, each pushing reverb boundaries in totally different directions. Foundational sounds on one hand, wild experimentation on the other.
It's like watching an ecosystem of sound design evolve from one company.
Absolutely.
And, this makes you think, doesn't it? It raises a question for you listening. Considering how these pedals totally change the sonic options for musicians, what other, maybe niche-seeming technologies in any field are doing the same thing right now?
Quietly reshaping things.
Yeah, quietly but profoundly shaping their industries. Just waiting for someone to take a deep dive and see their full potential. Could be in medicine, art, engineering, anywhere. These innovations that seem small on the surface, but actually end up redefining the whole creative process or an entire industry.
That's a fascinating thought to end on. What's the next Big Sky or Night Sky out there in some completely different field?
Exactly. Something to mull over.